Hi folks, today we're going to tell you a little bit about the LA9500 from Lightahead, which is the Lightahead version of the generic i9500. The Lightahead LA9500 is easily the most economical Android smartphones in the market, considering that it has a large 5-inch touchscreen, a capacitive touchscreen. Okay, let's start by setting up the phone. The first thing to do is to remove the back cover. If you notice, there's a small opening on the right hand side of the phone which can be used to open it gently. You can use one of your fingers or the thumb and it opens very easily. And this is what it looks like from behind. This is the model number, the first SIM card slot and the second SIM card slot, and of course we have the TF card slot. You would probably require a TF card depending on your need if you have a lot of photos, videos and apps to store. But the TF cards are pretty inexpensive and you can get them from Amazon.com. They are also called the micro SD cards. Alright, let's start by putting the SIM card inside. I have an AT&T SIM card here. Before I put that in, let me remind you that this is a totally unlocked phone. You don't need to call the provider or do anything at all. All you have to do is insert the SIM, put the battery in, and you're good to go. Let me show you how. Okay, the SIM card goes in the direction of the little diagram you see here. And if you follow that, you can never go wrong. There goes the SIM. And then we insert the battery inside. Make sure the terminals of the battery meet the terminals of the phone, and we close the back cover. To start up the phone, we use this small power button on the left hand side of the phone. We press it momentarily and the phone starts up with the Android logo showing up. Now while it's starting up, I'll tell you what all is in the box. We have a USB cable and an adapter used to charge the phone. We have an extra battery. Here it is. A set of earphones. And of course we have a back case which is free, complimentary from Lightahead. So we put everything back into the box while the phone starts up. Okay, there we go. If you see, it says new card is inserted, which means the phone has already it's recognized the SIM card. You press the reset button and it takes you to dual SIM settings, which is something you would need if you have two SIM cards. If you have only one, you don't have to do anything. Just hit the back button. And there you are. You see these white bars of the network signal, which means you're connected to the cellular network. Mobile network is now available. Now, how do we check about this network? We simply press the settings button, go to system settings, and we scroll down and click on mobile networks. Now the SIM 1 is shown in white, which means that this SIM is active. We gently click on that. And then we have to make sure that the data is enabled. There should be a green check here. The data roaming should be enabled depending on your need. If you want the data to be active while you're roaming, you put a check on it. If you don't want it, you can just leave it like that. Now, network operators. This shows the option of searching for networks or selecting automatically, depending on your... Most of the providers have the setting so that the network is caught up automatically by the phone. Now here is the most important thing while setting up the phone that one should know. This is the access point names. When we click on it, it shows AT&T, We click on it, it gives all the APN settings of the network. Sometimes if you have any difficulty in receiving or sending an email or accessing the internet or sending an MMS message or receiving it, we strongly recommend that you call the service provider and tell them that these are the settings in your phone and if there's anything that you need to add in any of the fields. Remember that any problem in sending or getting emails or messages is completely dependent on the APN settings, which in most of the networks is usually automatic, but sometimes when there is a problem you do need to call the service provider to get the correct APN settings. Now we go back. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the buttons, the controls of the phone. Here is the phone. On the left hand side, like I said, is the power button. On the right hand side there is the volume up and volume down button. While you're playing music or while you're in the call, you can use this as well. Now this is the most important button. This is the button of the settings of each screen. For example, we are on the home screen, and if we press, we get system settings, desktop settings, screen editor, wallpapers and widgets. Now each screen will have its own settings, so when you're on a screen you press, it gives you all the options of that screen. This is to return to the previous screen, and this is the home button. I'll take a minute to show you that in some of the versions the buttons are slightly different. For example, this one. This one has the power button on the right hand side, unlike this one which had a power button on the left hand side. And this one has the volume buttons on the left hand side, unlike this one which had the volume buttons on the right hand side. The phone is the same, it's just that, the buttons are at different places. Now in this phone there is another thing that we need to know. Sometimes when these buttons are not lit, when you go to the home screen, sometimes the buttons will disappear. They are hidden actually, so when you tap here, the settings icon will light up. When you tap here, the return icon will pop up. So you have to remember, if you ever get lost and you want to go back, all you have to do is tap here and the button will come up. Okay, one last difference in this particular version is that the micro SD slot is on the right hand side, right where I'm pointing, and not on the left hand side as we had shown in the earlier version. That's about it all. Now we go back to the home screen and I'll tell you a little bit more about the functions. Before I do that, let me show you on the home screen there is certain functions are available right from the top. Just put your finger gently here and press it down. It will show you the WLAN, which shows whether the wireless is connected or not. To connect to the Bluetooth, just tap on this and the Bluetooth will be switched on. If you want to put the phone on silent, press this. If you don't want to put it on silent, you have the option of putting on vibrate, sound or silent. This shows that the data is on, and this is to lock or unlock the rotation of the screen. Let me show you a little bit about the other settings now. Let's go to system settings to start with. Airplane mode is when you're traveling on a flight. WLAN settings, you turn them on when you want to put the phone on Wi-Fi. When you click on this, it will show you all the available networks and you just have to click on it to choose, and if it has a security key you have to enter it and you're on your own. Bluetooth settings are to connect to a Bluetooth device, and then these are few more settings, and here we have the mobile network settings about which I have already explained to you. SIM1 is the settings. You have to make sure once again that the data is enabled and the data roaming is depending on whether you want to use it or not. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the applications. there are certain applications which are already preloaded in the phone. One of the most important applications is the Play Store. This will take you to the Google Play Store and allow you to download any application which is available on the Android marketplace. For this, you need to set up a Google account. If you already have one, you can just enter your credentials and you'll be able to access the marketplace, search for apps and download them. One of the recommended apps is an app called Google Maps, which is very helpful, which is supported by Wi-Fi and mobile network, and you can find your way around while traveling from this phone. And then we have these clock, calendar, camera. Okay, let's tell you a little bit about the camera. This phone, as you know, has two cameras, the front camera and the back camera. Now you see this icon on top. This is to switch between the cameras. Like right now we are on the back camera, and if we press this button, we will switch to the front camera. So all you have to do is just press this and it'll go to the front camera here. Now it's switched to the front camera, and pressing it again would switch back to the back camera. Now then we have, you know, things like sound recorder, ES File Explorer. It saves all your files and data when you're downloading any data, or you have your, you know, you want to save any documents. This is it. Email and browser. Okay, we'll show you how to use the browser. It says Explorer here. Just tap on it, and by default it'll open Google. You can put any address on the search bar, like for example Amazon.com, and press go. And there you are. The browser speed depends on the internet connection or your data connection speed. I have a pretty fast internet here, and you saw how fast the window opened. But it has a fairly easy to use browser, and I'm sure you'll find it very, very useful. Okay, then we have the email. Email lets you, there's a very easy setup. Just enter your email and the password, and most of the emails are easily configurable on this Android phone. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about troubleshooting. Most of the problems in this phone can be easily, you know, this phone rarely has a problem which is difficult to resolve. It generally doesn't have problems, but if it does, there are two easy ways to do it. One is to go through a factory reset, which I'll show you just now. Let's go to the home screen, click on settings, click on system settings, click on accounts, privacy, and factory data reset. This will click on erase SD card. Make sure all the data is saved on your SD card, because once you reset the phone, everything will be deleted and your phone will be reset to its original factory settings. So if there was any snag anywhere in any document or application, it'll just go away and the phone will function properly. The second is the hard reset, which will come a little later. First, let's have a look at the other functions. Here is the settings tab. When you open the settings tab, you have three options. One is connections, which I've already shown to you. Then we come to my device. This lets you adjust the display. You can adjust the brightness of the screen by moving this cursor up and down. Then you can adjust auto rotate. If you don't want it to rotate, leave it unchecked. Animation, it can allow you to put some animations. And screen timeout, this depends on when you want the screen to turn off. It's totally dependent on your choice. Okay, now this was about display. Then we come to sound. Sound lets you change the profiles. In your profile you have general, silent, vibration, and outdoor. All these are customizable. For example, if you go on general, you can set up the ringtone, you can set up the volume, you can set up whether you want it to vibrate or not, and stuff like that. Then we have this was about the sound. Then we have call settings. In call settings, again, you can set up vibration. You can click on SIM1, and you have the option of setting up your voicemail. There are a few other settings which depend on your preferences. Then there are these additional settings. Now, in case there's an important setting here called call waiting. Now, in case you want the call waiting to be activated, you have to remember that when you're making a call and when somebody calls you, then you'll hear a little beep, which means that somebody is trying to call you. So this is about these settings. And then we go to accounts and synchronization. This is about your Google account. If you don't have an account, it'll ask you to add an account. You can add a corporate or a Google account. Once you add your Google account, you can access the marketplace and download free apps or buy paid apps or whatever you want to do. Then we go to if you ever want to know what is the battery left in the how much battery is left in the phone, you can go to more options and then go on about phone. Go on status, go on other, and it'll tell you battery level. Like right now it shows 50% and it shows that it's discharging. Okay, in the end, let me tell you a little bit about the hard reset. All you have to do is open the back cover, remove the battery, remove the SIM card, wait for a few moments and then replace them. We recommend you wait for at least 2 to 3 minutes. As long as 5 minutes should be alright. And you replace the back cover. And if there was any minor snag, it would go away. We hope you enjoyed watching the video and you really enjoy your new LA9500. And we recommend that you visit our website lightahead.us to see some of the most amazingly priced Android phones which are not available anywhere in the market. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.